I've mocked up a custom-made bracket. I think that'll work. Or it won't, and I'll have to redesign it. Welcome back to the garage. It's been a couple weeks, so I figured I'd update you on the little things that I've been doing and what we're gonna be working on today. All right, so I've just been continuing with the wiring. I haven't been filming this much because it's boring. I'm starting to tidy up some of these wires and planning to get the shifter in here because all that hose and wiring and such routes in here. So I wanted to start getting these things out of the way so I can get the shifter down in here. Now there's obviously a panel here. It's not in here yet. I zip tied a lot of these hoses out of the way so I can put the shifter down in here. And I've also painted the bracket that I made last week for the radios, which is gonna go in the panel up in that location there. So waiting for that to dry. Once that dries, then I can finish up the wiring, tidy all this up, plug that in, and then get this panel in. On this panel, this is just sitting in here now, but I got the front panel just kind of in there for mock-up because what I'm gonna be working on today is mounting a rear steer camera screen that I've sort of mocked up is probably going to be good right there. So let me show you that. So this is just a simple screen for a rear steer. Now what I've done is I've mocked up a custom made bracket that I think is going to work, and I've 3D printed it out of PLA. So you can see it's kind of got that going on. There's this kind of a square channel in there. You can barely see it with the bracket on there. I'm gonna have a piece that slots into that channel in the middle of this bracket. So it's just kind of floating there right now, but it won't be like that. And this will mount something of this nature. You can see the marks on there that I put for, you know, where I think it's gonna probably be a good spot, which is looking like it's gonna be like right there. I think that's a good spot. I'll figure out the hole pattern, drill the holes, and then cut this bracket out on the plasma table and figure out how I'm gonna put the square channel, or, you know, size that appropriately and get the channel to slot in there, you know, at that exact spacing. I think probably what I'll do is maybe I'll adjust the model and put a threaded hole in this, and then I can thread a screw in there to get the right depth, weld a piece of square stock that'll fit into this channel, and then the threads will let me get it precisely located, and then I'll just weld it and cut the threads off on the backside. So that's probably how I'll do that. Something like that. That'll probably work. So now, just cut this out of metal, drill and tap a threaded hole in this, and then use some of this all thread and weld a little square piece on the end that'll slot into this. It'll slot into here. I think that'll work. Or it won't, and I'll have to redesign it. Now you see how thin this metal is. This is just 16 gauge. You wouldn't want to actually rely on that just one little thread like that to hold on to anything structurally. But that's not what this is for, right? This is just a way for me to sort of adjust the depth of this to the point that I want it to be at, you know, in a fairly precise way, basically the precision of the thread pitch. Just you know, enough so I can get tacks in there and then weld it at that depth. So, but yeah, you'd want more threads than that, more thread engagement than that for anything of any structural, for anything that's structural.
So here I am painstakingly preparing this little piece, which will be the base plate I was referring to, not thinking about the fact that this tiny little piece is going to be almost impossible to hold and weld. So, silly. You'll see in the next clip that I finally figured out, like, how am I going to hold this little thing? And I end up cutting another piece that's the same width, but much longer. So I can hold it, and then you'll see me holding it in the fixture here.
Probably just welded that to the table. Damn it. Oh no, okay, I'm good. Alright, here's where I'm at. I got that little plate welded on there and then hand filed and ground down so it'll fit in the slot. I have it like roughly at a good height. So that'll line up. And then you can see where I'm going with this now. So the point of the thread, you know, so I can figure out the height and then pull it out of the slot, the thread will hold it at the right height long enough so I can get a tack on there.
The air compressor blow-off is about to scare the daylights out of me. Watch right here. That thing gets me all the time. Keep forgetting to turn it off while I'm welding.
Hey, that's still hot. Hopefully it still fits in there. All right, it's the next day. Here's where I'm at after the welding. Came out really good. One thing I didn't really show is when I was prepping to weld this, I ground off the threads at the very end. And that's just so I could get better penetration of the weld in there. But one thing I didn't really think about was, and it's kind of hard to do anyway. I couldn't really do it unless I would have ground off all the threads, but grinding off the zinc coating. So it's not too terribly big deal. You can see the weld came out pretty good regardless. But with TIG welding, when you're getting zinc contamination in there, it doesn't go as well as if it's perfectly clean. That's why you saw me brushing a lot. I was with a wire brush, I was brushing off the zinc. Now, one thing to be careful about with welding zinc is the zinc gas is poisonous. So if you're doing a lot of it, you want to have a respirator. I was just doing a little bit, and I'm in a well-ventilated area. So the task for today is going to be cut this off flush and then grind that, and I may even put some more weldment in there. I'll just have to see what it looks like after I grind it off. That'll be the flush side that sits against the panel. All right, that's it for this one. There it is, all installed. Came out pretty good, I think. The only thing left now is to just take it off and paint it. And speaking of paint, here's the totally finished painted radio bracket from last video. So I'll get that installed on that panel, get the radios in, and then those interior panels are just about done. So continuing to make progress on the wiring, getting pretty close. After I get these panels buttoned up and the wires tidied up, wires and hoses tidied up the way I kind of want to run them. After that, the only other wiring stuff that I have is like the headlight, the headlight and the rock lights and such. So once I'm done with the wiring, a lot of this other stuff is going to go fast. Those are the last, these two brackets were the last of the things that I needed to actually make and fabricate for the most part. So the rest of this is going to start to pick up pace, start to go fast. So that'll be exciting. Anyways, thanks for watching.